Hello and welcome back, AnthWolf here with more Europa Universalis 4 tutorial, part 3. As before we continue and before we unpause the game, because we've mostly got the setup underway, I want to backtrack a little. Because we've talked about our rivals, now we need to talk about our friends. Now of course, I say we've already got a mission to take water provinces here from Makuria. We have went against Quora. We have Lithuania and Aragon as other rivals, but they're not going to be a bother to us, they're just there for the meanwhile. But yeah, so we have our enemies, we have our first kind of target here. But let's look at our allies. The first thing we want to do is go back to the Makuria. We can click our shield crest here, we can press F1. And if we go to the diplomacy tab, we can have 4 diplomatic relations. We already have one. With Cyprus, we are guaranteeing their independence, that takes up one of their slots. But we can have another 3. These include alliances, military alliances, or royal marriages, and so far and so forth. So, we have Quora here, who does have a larger military force than us right now, or I believe they did. But we want to take on Makuria, so we may want a bit more muscle. We may want some assistance when we eventually would go towards Quora here, so I'm thinking Hijaz. Let's have a look. They aren't our enemies, they aren't one of our rivals. They are hostile, they feel threatened towards us though. So let's click our diplomacy tab. Again, it opens up the diplomacy for Hijaz themselves. And there's a lot of options I can open up here. So they would accept a royal marriage. We can improve our relations. That basically means we send one of our 2 diplomats here to their nation and go, do you want to be friends? And that can go to a certain amount. Normally it's 100. They won't accept an alliance though. So if I ask for a royal marriage, they will automatically accept. That's not a problem. So we'll leave that and see what happens. Or when I unpause, we'll find the results and see what's changed there. And I'm thinking, Tunis. I'm thinking we should ally ourselves with Tunis, because we may want to expand to the west as well. And we could take Fezian, we could try to take these other 2 Gort, Mazab and Jid. That's probably a bad way to pronounce that name. But yeah, they would accept an alliance with us. So yeah, we will offer them an alliance and they will accept that. So when we unpause the game, events will occur there as well. So we'll keep that in mind. What other tabs do we have? We have the provincial unrest. We can hire a free military leader. We will get to that. I'll go through these other tabs just for now, just to introduce you to more of the game mechanics. We can go to the economy. Tells us our monthly balance. At the moment we're in the positive. We are spending money on missionaries, converting Sidian there. Our army maintenance we can turn down at the moment because we aren't actually using our maintenance. But an important thing to remember, and I say that and I'll probably forget, is before you go to war or before a revolt happens, and it will normally warn you if you keep this tab open, to turn your army maintenance back up, because that affects the morale of your army, and if you have 0 morale, your army will break almost instantly in a battle. And of course we have fleet maintenance. That is affected by obviously our light ships at the moment, possibly our heavy ships, but you'll see that maintenance may go down because our heavy ships, our cogs and galleys are actually mothballed. So that may be the money for our light ships. Oh, there you go actually. Our mothballed navy is actually 1.48 ducats, whereas that probably would be more if they weren't mothballed. So yeah, at the moment we are making a positive 9 ducats a month. And obviously that is, it should be reflected here as well. It'll probably balance out once I unpause the game. But obviously this is like the ledger. We could take loans and that would raise our inflation, but we have a positive amount of gold right now even after taking our advisors. Our trade, we are in Alexandria and we have a merchant in Aleppo, but apparently it looks like we may have one in the Gulf of Aden. So where is the Gulf of Aden? I do not know. Ah, there. Yeah, we have a merchant in the Gulf of Aden who's transferring power up from there up to Alexandria to gain us more ducats that way. Excellent. Now here's a major thing in the game you will have to bear in mind is technology. You and the other nations will be trying to enhance yourselves beyond each other basically. The more advanced, the greater technology you have compared to your neighbours will give you an advantage, mostly in warfare. Military technology in particular can give you improved flanking range depending on what level you have, morale, tactics. So if you have a greater military technology than say Makuria here, then you will most likely win an even battle. Obviously generals will make up some of this, and when we get there I will hire a general and I will show you some of the elements there as well. And of course the more you unlock, the more buildings and upgrades for your provinces you gain. So for an example, at level 4 of diplomatic technology we can create a dock or a marketplace, and they each give us certain bonuses. They will cost ducats and probably diplomatic or administrative power to actually construct, but once they're built, and it normally takes a year for them to be built, when we can make use of their bonuses basically. And at level 4 administrative technology we unlock an idea group, a national idea, and that's in the next tab. We do want it 4 at 7 at 11. No, at 10 and 14, and there's more even then, but I've only really got up to about level 14 I think. So if we look at our ideas right now, the Mameluke ideas, which we could have saw at the beginning when we selected the nation before we even press play. As we unlock the ideas and their bonuses basically, these will also unlock, and I think it takes 3 for each one. So they have a bonus to trade, that prestige, manpower recovery, discipline, which is a good thing to have during warfare, production efficiency, stability cost, and trade again. So they're kind of an all-round nation, but they also have traditions. They have an increased cavalry combat ability, and trade steering, which means if our merchants are diverting power from say the Gulf of Aden, then they can steer more of the ducats from that node up towards us a bit more effectively than someone who doesn't have that tradition basically. And at level 4 we unlock one of these ideas, and then we have a massive list. All these ones take up administrative power to unlock. Each one of these takes 400 individually, so they cost quite a bit, and obviously diplomatic power and military power. And depending on how you want to play your game, you may want to invest in these. So for example, if you say play Portugal, because I like Portugal, you may be interested in expansion ideas or trade ideas, because you maybe want to play a trade-centric game rather than a war-like game, and therefore you will get the most bonuses from taking these ideas. So yeah, that's another thing. What else do we have? Our missions, of course, I went through these. Obviously these help us gain an idea of what we want to do. We can play it any way we want, but say we really want to form Arabia. Therefore, we are trying to ally with Hijaz, but eventually we may stab them in the back because we'll need Medina and Mecca to actually form Arabia. But, you know, in Caesar's game, best to cement your allies before you actually stab them, basically. Stability and expansion, we've actually looked at it. Stability gives you a bonus, so obviously it tells you there, for each positive stability we gain a bonus to our unrest, or a negative to our unrest. Increases our tax modifiers, our missionary strength, and national good production. And obviously, but if we have negative stability, we will gain a larger unrest issue, which isn't a major problem at the moment, apart from for Sidian, because we have a national unrest there, a provincial unrest there, because we're converting them over to the Sunni religion. Obviously, we looked at the religion tab. The military tab is what we probably should look at next. This tells us our current tech. We have Muslim archers as our kind of melee close unit. We have our cavalry. And eventually we will get cannons. And say at tech level 5, military tech 5, we could upgrade our Muslim archers, our foot soldiers, to be dual infantry. Infantry specialise in single combat, using swords as their primary weapon of choice. And of course, and so on and so forth as we increase our military tech. And it's exactly the same for the charge cavalry at level 6. We will gain a new bonus. And they have bonuses to their shock value, their fire value, and morale. Both offensive and defensive. So these are important to bear in mind. And sometimes, say at level 18, we can choose between. And each of them have a difference. One has a difference in morale to its fire. So sometimes it's important because you don't need to disband your forces and reform them. Your land units will automatically upgrade themselves. Your naval forces, I think you need to upgrade. As in, I think after the bark, what do you get? I'm trying to think of what it... I got it, I know from the tip of my tongue, but I have forgotten it. Oh dear. Let's see if I can check from here. No, it's not going to tell me. Oh, the caravel. There you go. At level 8, tech level 9 of diplomatic power, we will gain the caravel. So, we may want to, for 50 military power, we have 84 at the moment, we can hire a general. We may want to do one before we go to war against Makuria here, because it may give us a bonus in combat. I'll give you an example. Let's just hire one. Okay, not great, but not terrible. He has a 2 fire bonus, a 1 shock bonus, a 1 maneuver bonus, and a 1 siege bonus. So, if we correlate this to the units here, say we look at our cavalry, he will give us a bonus to the cavalry shock, and he will give us half a bonus, like half a point extra to the infantry shock, but only, and actually half a bonus to the infantry fire, because he has a 2 points there. So we'll attach him to our 2nd army there. So now he's leading that force. And obviously we'll bear in mind where he is. We can chop and change while he's in our territory, but while he's in enemy territory, if we haven't taken the province, then we couldn't change that. We'd have to pull him back into friendly territory. And last but not least, subjects, which we can't click because we don't have any vassals under us right now. Is there anything else we should do before we begin? I don't believe so. We can actually unpause the game at last. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, We'll quickly pause the game there again. Actually, no, we'll keep going. It's on speed 1. We don't need to worry too much. The game will start elapsing. We could have probably done this ages ago. Hijaz has entered a royal marriage with us. Our relations have improved because we are now, our noble families have joined. And Tunis has accepted a military alliance. So let's look at Hijaz now. They like us by plus 25. They will accept an alliance. But they won't accept an alliance straight away because we did send a diplomat earlier. It normally takes, I think it's like a month before you can send another diplomat. And of course Tunis will accept a royal marriage. Normally with alliances you'll want to go into a royal marriage right after. And sometimes they themselves will come up to you and request it. So Tunis themselves have gained some alliances with obviously us ourselves, the Mamelukes. And they've allied with the Orange Nation here, which I pronounced horribly earlier. Hijaz on the other hand haven't formed any alliances just yet, but that will no doubt change. And oh, another thing we did was we moved some forces over the Sidian here. And that unrest is still 5.7. I do believe the unrest goes down if you have military there though. Maybe I just never noticed it. And our light ships are out patrolling the coastline, the trade node. Which trade node did I send them on again? The Aleppo trade node. So they have a set route. I don't know which way it'll be, but I'll leave them to it. We're not at war with anyone at the moment. I can't see us going to war with the rebel faction here in Sidian, so I'm actually going to bring my forces down towards Makuria. In fact, I just paused the game because the months are passing a bit faster, even on speed 1, because we want to form an alliance with Hijaz. And we want a royal marriage with Tunis. They will accept. Let's have a quick look at our diplomacy. So we have 3 or 4 diplomatic relations right now. Cyprus don't really care for us. Hijaz and Tunis of course do. We could have one more relation. Not with Quara or Tunis unfortunately. How about Yemen? Oh, Yemen, you've got to be aware that Hijaz may not like Yemen, and forming an alliance or relationship with a rival of someone you've already allied will sour them slightly towards you. So it's something to bear in mind because it's quite easy to make errors in this game. So we'll make an alliance with Yemen. Oh, hello. So Quara have declared war on Trebizond. And where is Trebizond? I wonder, they're quite a small nation. I can't see them now, but they will be local, no doubt. Oh, there they are. I don't know why it sent us over there. It's a one nation province. They are probably going to get eaten up and swallowed. But that doesn't concern us. What we will do is send our diplomat over to Yemen to form a military alliance with them, and they accept. And then we need to wait for... oh, we don't need to wait. Ah. Our diplomat is returning from Yemen now. It will take us a few more days. Meanwhile, we had to wait until a month passed before we could send another diplomat over to Hijaz. And we'll begin improving relations with them. We'll keep another diplomat spare because, as I say, I want to start bringing my forces down. Oh, hello, what's this? Yemen want a royal marriage. Well, we wanted to do that, so of course I will accept. One thing to bear in mind when moving troops is what provinces they're going through and its supply limit. At the moment, Alexandria here has a supply limit of 29, which means it can supply 29 stacks of 1,000 men. But likes of Aswan here can only supply 9,000 men. If you have more units than the limit, you will start taking like losses. You will start suffering obviously manpower losses, and you'll need to reinforce your army. Well, one thing we'll want to do is start hiring more units, because we will be going to war very shortly. Obviously it tells us how much gold it'll cost. It tells us here. Oh, no it doesn't. It tells us here actually on the provinces. So it tells us 10 gold to hire them, and it tells us how long it takes to actually recruit them. We have some provinces that'll only take 55 days, 57 days, so we'll do the quicker time. We can hire 7 in total, so we'll hire, there you go, 5 more archers and 2 more cavalry. And then we'll just increase the game speed slightly. Let's check these, they're fine. Good. It will tell us here if they start taking losses through supply limit. It tells us obviously we're recruiting regiments right now and how long it's going to take for them to be recruited and available for us. And because we recruited 7,000 more troops, that actually took 7,000 manpower from our manpower pool. So that will be recovering by 277 per month until it's reached its 33k once again. So we'll increase the speed just a little bit more there. Let's have a look at Makuria. They have made no alliances. They are improving relations with the Mamelukes ourselves, but because we're not an AI player, we're just going to ignore that. We're not going to be friends. Oh, and we actually suffered some losses there. I don't know how that was, but fair enough, we did. We'll just recruit our 2 cavalry pieces and get them into place, and then I think I will end this video ready for the war that is to come in the next video. Oh, we had our first event. Rumours say that sailors came back from a trip sick like hell, and the ones who didn't die on board infested the whole city with their disease. Yay! Which port is it? Diameter, here. That has gained influenza. We can now quarantine the port and let them die for an entire year, and we won't gain any trade power from this province. We will lose goods and lose tax and manpower modifying. Or we can basically not care and leave the port open, I suppose you could say. You cannot quarantine the area, but then there's a chance that it actually spreads to other provinces. So I'm just going to quarantine it and just let the influenza burn itself out. There we are. There's our 7 more troops. We will just... Now, we don't actually have the morale to actually move from our spot. We are actually stuck in place until our basic morale has recovered. Yeah, we can't actually give the move order until the morale has recovered there. So we'll just speed it up slightly more until that's done. There you go. Just a couple more. Excellent. All our units have now recovered their morale. go. Press G and combine those forces, and there we are. We are set on the border, and sure, Makuria knows something's up, but they still don't have any alliances right now. But I will pause the game there, bring the speed down to just 2 to be happy. And the last thing we will do before we go is just prepare. We will look at the ledger, and this basically tells us every single country in the game. It tells us everything you want to know about them. We're particularly interested in Makuria's military might. So let's look at armies and let's find Makuria. There we are. So at the moment they have only 1,000 infantry, 1,000 cavalry. They have 11,000 manpower. So they could hire troops, or they could recruit troops. But at the moment they've only got 2,000 units somewhere in their country. So this could go horribly wrong for them, and they have no allies to call on. Whereas when we go to war, we may be able to pull Yemen, Hijaz, or even Tunis into war with us to assist us in our claim. But yeah, that'll be the next episode. See, when we come back, we will go to Makuria and I'll show you the game mechanics there. And hopefully all goes well. But yeah, this has been AnthWolf, and I will see you all in the next tutorial video. Till then, take care. Bye bye now.